What I wanted to talk about today is how businesses are handling AI. I have three concerns. The first is how AI is defined in business policies. The second is businesses not understanding the risks of AI. And third, over restrictive policies. So how AI is defined in policies. A lot of policies that I've been seeing refer to AI or AI generated results. They're not referring to what I think is the biggest concern of businesses, and that is generative AI like ChatGPT, which, as we all know, burst onto the stage within the last year and is talked about all the time. And businesses rightfully are trying to address how they use generative AI and how they allow their employees to use generative AI. And what I see is policies directed not to generative AI, but to just AI or AI generated, a much broader term. In fact, the United States Copyright Office recently issued guidelines that refer to AI generated work, not generative AI. And in doing so, in my opinion, they've captured a lot more possible works of art, either literature, images, computer programs, etc., than they really intended to do. For example, digital cameras use AI, and pictures, arguably, or images from digital cameras, arguably, are AI generated, resulting in a need now under the guidelines to identify what AI was used. Also, if you already have images that are registered, you have to go back and, under the guidelines, file a supplemental application to indicate that you've used AI in generating your images. I called the Copyright Office to see if the new guidelines pertain to digital cameras. At first I was told digital cameras don't use AI, but in fact they have for the last 10 years. And then I was told, well, you need to follow the guidelines and best of luck. Actually, that's what was said, best of luck. So it's created what I think is unnecessary work and concern for those who are attempting to register work. The same applies to businesses. Be careful about what your policies are addressing, what you're concerned about, because AI is everywhere. It's in Google, it's in Word, and it's going to be developing more and more, and we're going to see it in more and more applications. For example, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to run this through Rev, and that's a transcription program that takes my digital words and turns it into a typed document that I can then review and edit. Is it AI generated? Yes, I would say it is. Is it generative AI? No, because it's all my creation. I'm just using tools and technology to make it easier for me. The second is understanding the risks of AI. AI hallucinates, which is a nice way of saying AI makes stuff up. It's not accurate. And there are many warnings when you use, for example, ChatGPT that warns you against relying upon the results. It's a little complicated as to why this happens, but basically ChatGPT is trying to statistically find the next best word to complete a sentence that is grammatically acceptable to human beings. And it's looking through a myriad of choices, and it's trying to answer your question with the next best word, not the correct answer. It's not thinking, even though it's called thinking software. It is not. It's just statistically applying its search to get a good word to answer your result. And there's a lot of instances where this has been a problem. The one that most recently came to light was two lawyers in New York who used ChatGPT to prepare arguments in a brief. They submitted that brief to the court, and the court wasn't able to find the cases they were referencing, not all of them. And that's because ChatGPT literally made up 3 cases with judges who are existing judges in courts in the United States, cited to other cases. It looked like a true court citation, a true court case, but it was all made up. The judge sanctioned them $5,000 for doing this and for not reviewing their work before it was submitted to the court. There's another problem coming up with ChatGPT that's been labeled MAD. And what that is ChatGPT using and searching its own answers in order to provide answers to your queries. And they're speculating that this is embedding poor results, inaccurate results that are going to be reused again and again by ChatGPT, making it even more unreliable. And when I refer to ChatGPT, I'm referring not only to that particular application, but other similar generative AI applications. The last point that concerns me is over-restrictive policies. I've seen a number of policies in which the use of ChatGPT is prohibited. You have to get permission from management to use it. And to me, that's over-restrictive and is going to result in your business, your employees, playing catch-up in the next few years, if not the next few months. Because generative AI, the more broad category, is going to be here. AI, the very broad category, has been here for decades, and it's going to continue to develop and continue to be used. And I think in order to be competitive as a business, you have to keep up to date with AI, and in particular generative AI like ChatGPT, so that you know what's going on and you know how you might be able to use it within your business. You need to be careful, obviously. You don't want to put in confidential information because it is arguably no longer confidential once you do that, because ChatGPT puts it into its database and then uses it to answer questions in the future. It's continually, quote, learning. So any confidential information you want to be careful with. In addition, you want to be careful with the answers coming out. So those are the policies that you want to focus on, but not a strict prohibition against any further use of ChatGPT. I think it's something you need to learn and use as it continues to develop. It reminds me of when I started practicing law and computers were making their introduction on the desks of lawyers. The computers had, prior to that, been on the assistant's desk, and lawyers typically didn't use them. My partner at the time absolutely refused to use his computer. And one day he called me and said, "Hey, I need a number. Can you go to my computer and get it for me?" And at first I was sort of excited. I thought, well, he's finally decided to use his computer. So I went into his office to retrieve the number. His screen was covered with Post-its. In today's world, that he couldn't practice law. He had to absolutely learn to use the computer. And I think in this day and age, we have to learn to use generative AI. Be careful with it, but learn to use it. Appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please give me a call. You can call me at 248-433-7381. Also, there's a link below for a free copy of the first chapter of my new book, which is soon to be released. And that chapter talks about intellectual property in businesses, the invisible assets that you have, and how to take advantage of those hidden assets for your business. Please like and please subscribe. I do these on a regular basis, and they're always focused on various aspects of intellectual property. Thanks again. I appreciate your time, and I will be talking to you soon.